Take this overboard now.
Poppin' Tea Squad, it's your girl Keisha, and I am here with this week's All Tea All Shade Ready to Love Season 7 Episode 3 review. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously, so if that works for you, then let's get into tonight's review. The episode begins with the ladies meeting Tommy at the lounge, which is in a church. Very apropos. Okay. So it's the girls' week where the guys have to go home, and Tommy tells them that he wants the ladies to infuse themselves in their dates and that he wants them to open up and reveal something to the guys. So the ladies head out on dates. Mercedes and Sue-Ann link up with Marc Anthony and Blake at a Kangoo class, and Mercedes is really into Marc Anthony. She really likes him. She thinks that Blake is a little bit off-putting. She doesn't really know how to take him at this point. So after they do the little exercise in class, they break off and Marc Anthony and Mercedes talk, and, they really vibing. The chemistry is there. They're flirting with one another. He asks her to come close. So this is starting off really well between them. They have a budding romance and they look really cute together. As far as Blake and Sue-Ann goes, they've already went out on a date before, so this is like catch up for them. And it was kind of like, a regular old conversation with a little bit of flirtation there. I just kept on focusing on that man's hair and the fact that he looked like old boy from Hey Arnold. Like, I just cannot with this man's haircut. He is divorced. He has children, and he said that he is over, dating around. Like, he wants the real thing. And at this point, she really wants to know if the chemistry is real between them, because there's something there, but it didn't seem like it was like a real magnetic chemistry, though. It kind of seemed like surface level, almost friend-like a little bit. So I'm a little iffy on them as of right now, but I just need old boy to cut that hair. That hair is just ridiculous. It's offensive. I feel like he's doing cosplay, Hey Arnold edition. No, sir. So we see Corvair and Fabrice go out on a date, and she's younger than him. He's from like Paris or something like that. Older guy, was in the fashion industry for quite a long time. He talks a lot about sex. That's like literally his whole topic of conversation, which is low-key gross and just ugh. So she decides to plan a date where they go bike riding, because that's something that she likes to do and it's something that he likes to do. So when I was looking at her, she reminds me a lot of a little petite version of Erica Mena. Like, they look a lot alike. Even her facial mannerisms remind me of Erica. He says that, basically he was, in so many words, calling her high maintenance. He was like, with a woman like her, you got to get her to a place where she won't be focusing on her hair and her makeup and the sweat and all of this. Like, he's just judging her based off her looks and stuff, which was really unfair, and look girling her as well. So they sit down and talk, and she asks him about his business, and he says that, he built it. He had it for 10 years, and then he sold it. And she was like, oh my gosh, it has to be a trick, because that's one of the things that I wrote down that I wanted, was a man who had built and sold his business. And so, he was like, oh, wow. And she was like, but listen, it's not about the monetary aspect. And he was like, no, it has something to do with it, and that's fine. If I look like you, I'd be exactly like you. Basically saying, you do care about money. You, with a woman that look like you, you're not going to make me believe that you don't care about money and that you don't go after men with money, because if I look like you, I'll be on that same type of time too, like stereotyping her. And it was very weird. And it was like, huh? So he was like, so what do you like to do? And she was like, because at this point you could tell she was very put off by him over talking her, telling her how she feels and thinks. So she was like, I like to make people feel good via social media. And he was like, oh, you're so young. Actually, one of my first loves was from Puerto Rico, so I understand you more than you can imagine. But I feel like you're so distant that it makes me uncomfortable. And it was like, how is she being distant? Like, anytime she speaks, you shut her down and tells her what she's thinking and how she's feeling and stuff like that. It was so weird. Like, get him out of here. Like, I don't like him at all. He looked like a security guard. Like, no, ma'am. We see Cynthia and Andre go to a painting class. Cynthia was one of the extras that was brought in, and immediately when she walked in, the guys was like goo goo gaga. She wore this green freakum dress that was showing all of the curves, and honey, she looked good in that dress, honey. I wanted her. That's how good she looked. So they meet up, like I said, for a painting class, and once again, all I could do is focus on that tendril on that man's forehead. I don't understand it. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know, but no, absolutely not. Please stick it up there with the rest of the hair. Like, I don't get it. It looked like, in them Tyler Perry plays, how they be having a little microphone that look like a vanilla bean sitting on the top of their head. That's what it's giving me. It looks really weird. And I noticed that they both have these very deep, sensual voices with like a tinge of an accent there. I don't know if they're like from the coast or something like that, but they both had like really deep voices with an accent. So he says that, he wants a woman that is soft, and she poses the question, well, what if you meet a woman who isn't soft, but, is willing to be taught how to be soft? Because she's built up a shield, with the things that she's gone through in her life. And he was like, he's most definitely willing to, teach and be there and aid. And so she, gets emotional when she starts to cry about, being open to being in a relationship. It's obvious that she's gone through some type of trauma in her life. Something has gone on in her life when it comes to relationship. But he says that he's even more attracted to her now that she was being vulnerable with him and opening up. And he even goes as far as to promise her that he will not take advantage of her vulnerability, which I appreciate it. I just hope that he's being truthful and honest and just not running game on her. But I do respect the fact that she did the assignment Tommy asked her to do. She was way more vulnerable than I would have been, but at least she's willing to go through the whole process of it all. Marcia and Morgan link up for a double date, and I told y'all when I did my cast breakdown that Marcia and Morgan were either going to be friends or they were going to be enemies, and it looks like they are friends, and they both seem to be interested a little bit in the same guys. So they go out on a date with Lyndon and Tony, and Tony, like I said in my cast breakdown, was going to be Rico Suave. Think that he was the ish-nish. And he comes in, with the deep voice, with the, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? He got all that going on with him. So, they sit down and, they get to the assignment. And Morgan admits that she's never been in love. And Tony looked at that like that could be a red flag for him, because he's not really sure like what's up with that. Like, he questions it, like, how can you be this old in life and not have ever been in love with somebody? So they break off, and you see Lyndon with Marcia and Morgan and Tony are really vibing. I must say, Morgan is gorgeous, beautiful woman. And, she's into him. He's into her. I can't really get into him. And that U-turn, he call her line. But I guess, girl, to each his own. She like it. I love it. But they are vibing, honey. They are really into each other. She is soaking up all his machismo. And Lyndon and Marcia, it seems like there might be some, a little bit of, I don't want to say he's scared of her, but you can tell like she's a little bit more of the aggressor in that situation, even though he does try to like kiss her. And she was like, no, we're not doing that. No. And he was like, oh my God, I read it wrong. It was kind of an awkward moment, but it seemed like he took it well. Jeffri takes DeMario on a horseback riding date. And as soon as I looked at him, I was like, he looked like a taller, bigger version of Mac Wiles, of Tristan, the actor from The Wire that played Michael. He looks like Mac Wiles. They got the same smile, them eyes, the hair texture, the skin complexion. He looked like he could be that man daddy. So after they do the horseback riding thing, she asks him, how does he feel about dating a woman with children, considering he does not have any? And he was like, as long as you're able to, not, financially, balance that, balance your time. Like, I have no problems dating a woman with children. I did see a little bit of hesitation when he went to answer it, but they do seem like they have some chemistry there that can be built upon. So I'm going to keep my eye on them. Then we see Jonique. She takes out Lyndon. She is so pretty. But I just see them being more like homeboy and homegirl. I think she might be a little bit more hooder than what he's normally used to dating. She seemed like she date the rapper, dope boy type of guys. And I don't want to stereotype her, but that's just the attitude that she seems like she comes with. She opens up and tells him that one of the things that she does is compare the men that she dates. And she was like, it's a bad thing. She's trying to stop it. And I can so see her doing it. I can see her comparing the guys that she dates. I so get that vibe from her. But I didn't really get a romantic connection between them. I see them being more of going out buddies. The ladies meet with Tommy to discuss how the dates went that week, and Morgan and Marcia both admit to being into Tony. And I think that could pose a problem in their, budding friendship later. Thus, going into what I said in my casting video, they either gonna be friends or they not gonna get along. So, Jonique says that she's into Blue. She felt like he saw her. And Lyndon, because, he was into the same type of vibe of relationship that she's into, but I just don't see it for them. I really honestly don't. I think that she don't even really see it for them. I think that she's just trying to kind of like maybe force a connection. I don't really see her having a connection with any of these guys on this show. So Cynthia tells the ladies how she went out with Andre and how she opened up to him and she cried, and her ass started crying right then and there. I'm like, girl, sit down. Do you need to go to therapy? Because it don't seem like you need to be on ready to love. You need to be on ready to release. So the names that come up in the bottom are Tony, Lyndon, Demario, and Fabrice. Marcia mentions, Fabrice constantly talking about sex and how he wore it as a badge of honor, but the ladies are like, he is too old and should know better, and that was a turnoff. One of the ladies even say that Blake was kind of rude to them. It was Morgan who said that, Blake was rude when it came to the fact that she wanted kids and he didn't because he already had kids, and he wasn't respecting the fact that she didn't. And then Jeffri stated that Blake says that he hates that he even has to be in this process because he's already found his girl and that she's it. He said that, he don't want to be going on these dates with these women and acting like he, cares. And that, when she goes out on dates, he's asking her when she's getting back home and keeping tabs on her. And she don't like it. Like, she can't breathe. And one of the other girls was saying how Blake is one of her tops and how she hasn't had that experience with him. But I felt like it was something off as I was watching the episode when he was on his date in the beginning with Sue-Ann. I felt like it was something off between them two. It felt like it was giving more of a friend type vibe. That's why I said earlier that I was going to keep my eye on them. Tommy tells the ladies about his second chance thing where, if the ladies can all agree, 1 week they can decide not to send anybody home that week. So that throws a monkey wrench into things. So at the end of the episode, we see Marcia meet up with Fabrice, aka Febreze, because he stinks up the place. She has on like mustard color button up, and she has like the first couple buttons unbuttoned, and she has a fairly large chest. And they sit down, and he was like, I just have to say to you that it's hard for me to keep my focus because, oh my God, just look at, I just cannot focus. Like, oh my, it's just like, dude, have you never seen titties before? Like, you don't have to talk about it. Okay, she has boobs out. Ooh wee. You want to talk about cultural differences and stuff and how you know, are from France and all of this. Okay, act like you've ever seen a pair of tits before, sir. Like, calm down, simmer down. You don't have to put her on blast and make her feel uncomfortable. And she was like, no, like chill. And he was like, I mean, isn't it what you would for? Like, he is a Me Too lawsuit walking. Like, he's just gross. So we then see Blake meet up with Sue-Ann. And we go back to Marcia and Fabrice, and she tells him how, you know, the ladies were, you know, turned off by him constantly bringing up, you know, sex all the time. And he was like, well, I think it's a lack of maturity. No, you're just a pervert. So Sue-Ann tells Blake that, you know, some of the women are saying he's combative and tough, and that Jeffri even said that he's over the process. He's already chosen somebody and he's chosen her, and that he's controlling. And he was like, well, first of all, I haven't made a choice. And in his confessional, he was like, it kind of hurt his feelings that these are the things that are being said about him, because it's absolutely not true. But I'm like, dude, I'm looking at you on this show. You do come across like you got an attitude, like you got a chip on your shoulder. Maybe it's the haircut. That's the only thing I could think about. I would be mad too if I walked around with my hair looking like that every day of life. So, Blake, he also says to her, you know, I saw this possibly happening, you know, that this could be said about me as far as, you know, him being mean and controlling. And he was like, I think people get used to a certain approach from men, and I just don't provide that. Well, girlfriend, then you need to go on somewhere. You and your box can go on somewhere, child, because you got too much going on to be looking the way that you do. Okay, hey Arnold. Okay, football head. So we find out at the end of the episode that Fabrice is the one that isn't ready to love. Honestly, they both should have been sent home. Blake then says to Sue-Ann, you know, after the Jeffri situation, I may be even a little bit more tougher now. Okay, girl, well, just go home, because ain't nobody got time to be dealing with your mommy issues or whatever trauma you got going on. Like, sir, please. Ain't nobody got time for your negativity. Ew. Overall, I'm going to give tonight's episode of Ready to Love a B-. It was good. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Let me know what y'all think about these crazy singles down below in the comment section, you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.